get to face your old team. Does that carry a ton of weight to you, or just because it's a different coaching staff, is it a little different?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's not about me. Got a lot of respect for that program and had a few great years there, but I'm here, and so it's no extra motivation for me. I'm trying to win everyone, so nothing really different.
Week 1, obviously, a tough game for everybody but Trent in general. I'm wondering, just your message to those guys and being able to flush that game and move on and trust what they're doing.
Yeah, and even Trent, everybody sees the stats and they see the big plays, but he'll be the first one to tell you that we can play better. He can play better. The whole group can. And so I just think ultimately that's program wide. We got to coach better. They want to play better. We just got to really kind of put it all together from that sense. I think the messaging kind of stays the same because I don't remember what his exact stat line was, but there's definitely plays either left out there or plays that Trent could affect things better, and he knows that. And he'll be the first one to tell you that. So the overall general theme, really from top down, is we got to all really kind of ratchet up our game.
Coach mentioned yesterday decision making on the route running. That's curious about everything that contained in that question. Like, how often in routes are there choices for receivers to make, or versus being more set? And how do you think after one game of experiencing that live, do you expect improvement in game 2? Like, what needs to be better there?
Yeah, it's not like we're a run and shoot system where there's all these different options on things. We have a few things where a few people maybe get to have a little bit more options. It's not freedom, but it's options, to do some things. But it's really just kind of, more than anything, it's coverage recognition stuff. And sometimes it's even just the angle that you make that decision at. And maybe you're supposed to, kind of bend the route versus a certain coverage, and maybe the degree that you bend it isn't quite what the quarterback's on the same page as, or something like that. So we're not out there freelancing and saying, hey, giving the pen to the players out there. It's just making sure that a lot of times, like I said, it's just angles and it's slight coverage adjustments more than anything. So I would just anticipate that to be better, because that's just growth that our guys, I think, see the field pretty well, and we just got to improve and adjust on a few of those things.
So it's more the little things that need to be tightened up headed into this weekend.
Basically. Yeah. I don't look at it like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? It's just, it's subtle things that end up, it's kind of death by inches at the end of the day.
The loss of Darius was obviously a big one, but you got a lot of young guys able to step up. I think of David and Eddie and Malachi. I'm curious, what have you seen from them in that week 1 performance on film, and just kind of mixing them into this offense more?
Yeah, I think they demonstrated they can do it. I think that all of them can play at a high level, and now it's just about continuing to grow and develop and gain the experience. And game reps are different than practice reps. You want to build game experience over time, and you look at a guy, if he plays 12 plays a game right now over the course of the season, that's almost 2 full games of experience. So as those 10 or 12 plays becomes 20 plays, you just start building on that. And so but they all demonstrated that they're very talented. They want to do well. They work hard. So it's just a matter of just them continuing to improve.
Defensively, compared to what Cal does and their approach, is Fresno similar, or do they play differently in their secondary after a different look this weekend?
There's actually a lot of similarities schematically. I think that when you look at what Fresno does, and the defensive coordinator there does a really good job, and he was at Northern Illinois before, and I coached against them in the bowl game last year, and they're really sound, and then they pose some problems schematically on third down. So, I think they are well coached, and just kind of trademark of the program, they're going to play hard, and that's a good combination, for them. So, we got to make sure that we're prepared, and ultimately it just comes back to the execution side of it, because they do a really good job schematically, and they play hard.
Is there they played twice, you played once. How much of an advantage is it to have 2 games under your belt as opposed to 1?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it for them, the advantage is it's a new staff, so that's 2 games with the new staff. But I think the big thing is just now there's both of us at least have a game. I don't necessarily think 1 game, 2 games. I don't know how much that plays into it.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
So 53 yards. I don't have access to your stats at JC. Have you ever made one longer?
No, that was my career long. My longest at JC was 47. So yeah, that was my first time kicking a field goal above 50 yards in my career.
What were the emotions and the nerves like, I guess, walking out there for that?
I mean, going into the game, I was pretty nervous. It's like my first big college start. But I mean, once you get in, I got into the game, got my warm up in. It was really every other game. I wasn't really thinking too much about it. And then when they called us out to that 53-yarder, I had nothing going on in my mind.
Just blank?
Went blank, looked at the field goal, and then I have faith in our operations to get it done. And so that's how I go in, and it was good.
And it goes through, and the weight sort of comes off your shoulders a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely probably one of the best moments I've had of my career so far. So for it to go in on my first career attempt here at OSU, I couldn't ask for anything more.
When did you first become a kicker? When was that kind of the position for you?
I was always the kid. I grew up playing soccer. My dad's from Chile, so I always have a soccer gene in my body. Grew up playing soccer. Dad actually kicked in Division I at University of New Mexico. So when I got into football, I was pretty much the only kid that could kick a football. And then it just kept going over and over, and then into high school, and then junior college, and then now I'm here.
So when did you pick up football? Was that middle school? Or?
Yeah, middle school. I played everything. I love football. I love just playing the game, watching it. So even though kicking, you don't get to be in the game all the time. You don't get to, make all those big plays. I can hit a 53-yarder
For sure.
Alexis isn't on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
But he sure hangs out with you guys a lot.
Yeah,
What have you learned from him?
I mean, he's always there to be a helping hand in anything I need. And if he sees something that he thinks that is going to help me, he'll let me know, and we'll work on it. We actually changed my steps probably 2 weeks before the game. Just talking with him and thinking I'd be more consistent with these steps. Ended up changing them, and yeah.
You changed the number of steps, or where you started from? What did you change?
Just body positioning. The approach of the ball. Just pretty much everything. Not trying to kill the ball, swing. Because a lot of kicking is momentum, and if you try and kill a ball, you're not going to have a lot of momentum. So it's just trusting mechanics and staying smooth with it.
Are there aspects of kicking that apply to other parts of your life? Are you nasty at kickball or
Golf?
Golf?
Yeah, golf is
I've heard that one. From
kicking and
specialists
golf
before.
is pretty similar. Like the saying, let the club do the work. If you try and kill a golf ball, I don't know if any of you guys play golf. It doesn't go very far. It stays pretty low. So as long as you stay smooth, and yeah, I mean, I played golf all year, all off season. So
You said you had to try Sting Tree. What are you shooting right now?
On 9, I'll shoot a normal round's probably a 45 above par. 18, anywhere I'm always trying to break 80. So, whether it doesn't always happen,
Yeah.
but that's the goal.
Are you playing with dudes on the team?
Yeah, so me and Trent Walker, we actually almost every day played golf, and then a couple of my roommates, we would head out there, and then just it's a great time to be out there with the guys.
Who's the best golfer on the team?
It kills me to say it, but I mean, he always beats me by at least 1 stroke, so I'd say Trent.
For sure.
He's a competitor.
He is.
Sport like that takes
Yeah.
some level of focus. For you, When you were playing football as a kid, did you play other positions at any point?
Yeah, in high school I was a quarterback in high school. So I was a quarterback, receiver, DB. So my sophomore year or my junior year, I had like 32 touchdowns or something like that. So yeah, I'm not to brag or anything, but I'm not just a kicker. Like I'm an athlete as well. So
So you're not afraid of if
yeah, I think that's
if some
that's
help
a
with the tackle
typical.
needs made, you're there to help.
Yeah, I think that's a typical stereotype of kickers is, they're not athletes, but, we'll put our head in there and we'll make a couple tackles. And my JUCO actually made a couple tackles, so.
Looking to get one at this level then now.
Well, I mean, if it comes to me making a tackle, I don't.
That's a tough situation.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's me, I'm going to make the tackle, so.
There's a certain mentality so many JUCO guys have to, kind of
Yeah.
grind through that and get to the D1 level. What's your journey been like? What's that experience been like for you?
Well, my senior year was the COVID year. I ended up tearing my ACL, so my journey in JUCO, I actually had to take a year off and just rehab. And then the JUCO I went to, I was blessed to go to. We have a lot of talented people in our specialist group there. Every single one of us went Division I. So when I first got there, we had a kicker, Gabe Placencia. He's at San Diego State now. But he was actually taking field goals and kickoffs. So I ended up filling up the role of punting. Okay. So I punted for a year, and then my second year there, I ended up taking over on kickoffs and field goals.
Was that an injury in your kicking?
No, it was in my plant leg, yeah.
How'd you do that?
Playing quarterback.
Nice.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
When you make a change, like technique-wise before the season, how hard is it to stick with that when you're on the field under the lights, needing 53 yards? How hard is it to stick with the new way as opposed to drifting back to the old way?
I mean, it's all about like rebuilding that muscle memory, right? So like I was kicking a certain way for a long time, and then that's what practice was for, was so that in practice I could change up that muscle memory so that when the time comes and I fall back on my training, that's the training I fall back on. I don't fall back on my old stuff that I was doing before.
You guys added a new kicker on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Did you show up to the locker room and there was like a new jersey there? Or did that come as a surprise?
No. I mean, as everyone knows, like our kicking room right now is pretty small, so we have a couple injuries going on. But yeah, I mean, we knew we needed to have a guy that needed to come in in case something happened that we could trust and, to go in there. And I mean, Cam's a great guy, so yeah, so.
What is that room of specialists like to
Oh, it's awesome.
It's typically.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the closest group on the team, in my opinion. We had a specialist dinner on Thursday night where Max Walker cooked up probably one of the best dinners I've had in a minute.
What did you make?
Some tri-tip, some steak, and a little salad. So, I mean, I don't know. I haven't had a room where I feel as comfortable as I do with those guys. Coming in here and working every day, like nothing. So, like, having people like that to come in and just be able to have a good time with and not only talk about football, but you can talk about anything, and we'll have a blast.
Coverage units, not a great night on Saturday night for either coverage unit. Is there anything specifically that you could do to maybe help, with that on the kickoff coverage?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely put the ball in a better spot. I was leaving them kind of towards the middle of the field, which I shouldn't be doing. I should be kind of getting them into that, we call it the alley, kind of towards the numbers. But I mean, the ball should be out of the end zone. I shouldn't really be giving the returner a shot to return the ball, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just something I need to keep working on and being able to help my teammates out with that.
Your dad having played, what did it mean to you to kind of be a second generation D1 kicker?
Oh, it's awesome. I actually made a little joke with him after the game when we were having little sit down with my family that I have the new Ojeda career record. Because he kicked at New Mexico, and he was a barefooted kicker, so and in New Mexico, so it wasn't, he didn't have a, but yeah, his longest was 48, so I'm happy I was able to get the bragging rights on that one.
Can you share like what was holding you up in camp
Well,
from full participation?
well, I had a meniscus tear, and I had surgery on that in the spring, and I got back 4 months, and I'm back playing. So that's pretty much what it was.
Is that frustrating to not be able to jump in right at the start of camp when
Yeah.
you're so anxious to get back on offense?
Especially, yeah, camp was I wish I was in there because there's just way more reps that I could have got that much better in. So well, fuck.
I doubt you're much of a pro football focused guy, but they graded you really highly for that performance in the game. I'm curious, what felt good, what was clicking for you, how do you feel like you've developed?
I feel like my pass game was my best. That I could get better in everything, but I feel like pass game was my best, and my run game could definitely get better. Picking up blitzes, linebackers, eyes on the linebackers.
That was a point of contention kind of for the whole offensive line, struggling to run the ball. What did Cal really, what were the looks that they were pitching you that kind of brought some of those struggles?
It was just our errors that pretty much went. We could have picked it up super easily. We just worked certain things, and then it just wasn't the exact same and then we should have been able to pick it up. It was just our bad.
What are you guys looking to improve upon this week, and how do you guys kind of attack these first 2 days of practice?
This first 2 days of practice, definitely keep going. Intensity needs to rise. We need to up that run game. Barely had any run yards. We strive to run the ball. We want 2,000 yards for Hank, all the running backs. That's what we want as O-line.
Was Cav drilling that into you guys maybe this first couple days?
he's been drilling it into us for the entire camp. To get run game. That's what it is. We need to run to pass the ball. So,
What's it like playing for a guy like Coach Cav?
Cav's a guy who says what he thinks, and it's good to have a coach like that, making sure everyone is like on tip-top shape. Make sure they're right. If they're wrong, he'll tell you.
Is it hard going into a game when you just haven't had a lot of reps with that 5 in camp?
Yes, but we all work together. We've all worked together through camp and spring ball. We work together. I just haven't. I was the only one that went in pretty much like at the last minute, so it was okay, I'd say.
Anything else?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Don.